Wow. Good evening, people, and happy Testify Tuesday. You know, today's been one of those days that it's just like, wow. And so we're going to try and touch base with one quick thing because people don't realize that they're not becoming influential. People become unavoidable. See, when you try and post things on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube or something like this, some people think they're becoming influential. Yeah, you are. But the small story is is that eventually it becomes unavoidable. It comes to a point where a moment in every leader's life when the territory around you starts responding. People start listening to you differently. Opportunities move towards you differently. And then all of a sudden, the rooms that you're standing in feel different. The people that you always hang around with feel different. And it's not because you changed your message. It's because you changed your identity. And today is that moment for you. Because see, when people make changes in their life, those daily small habits, those daily small disciplines, those daily small consistent efforts to make something better for themselves, they actually start stepping into their regional dominance, which means that they start taking ownership of the area around them. They start taking ownership of the people around them. They start trying and becoming the leader of the group around them. And you don't even realize it. See, I realized years ago that I had something that was much more bigger than what I am. When I first started out back, oh man, when I was in Scouts, and I started with different various projects, and other troops heard about my projects, and they wanted to get involved. When I got involved in the Market Park Lagoon project, where we cleaned out the lagoon, and other people got involved. When I started a Christian award project, and other people got involved. It just escalated. I was the only person from my high school to get a congressional award ever in the history of that high school. Wow, huh? Neat. How many people do you know got congressional awards? But you know what? The cool thing is that later on in life, as I was growing older, people would try and when I mentioned different things about what I did in my youth, hey, I remember that. I remember reading about the Market Park Lagoon cleanout. You were a project leader on that? Yeah, I was. Oh, hey, really? Bear with me on this one. Backdrop I made according to my daily talk. It's an animation I created. So, anyways, when I got older and people found out about the fact that Itron used to run a BBS, they were like, "Wow!" And when I told them the name and the phone number, they were like, "Wow! I didn't realize that was you." Talk about the surprise. Yeah, I know. And once again, the other night at my daughter's dance recital, when somebody randomly came up from the crowd and said, "Hey, you know what? I follow you on TikTok, and I really love the programs that you put out." That was just, mm, wow. And now I've actually got I've got some interesting phone calls today, and so I've got to follow up with them tomorrow. It appears as though there are several different places in Northwest Indiana that are wanting me to come and talk. So I'm going to call them back tomorrow, and we're going to see about going and checking it out. Because you know what? Dominance begins internally before it shows up externally. See, your habits are what create your radius. There's a quote that I saw the other day on a YouTube video, or I didn't see the quote, I saw the video, and the guy talks about it. He's like, if you show me your friends, I will show you your future. And that's actually a very, very, very good quote, because you know what? Your habits create your radius. The things you do every day, the people you hang out with every day, that help create your identity. That creates who you are. And that creates where you're going. So your habits create your radius. Your discipline creates your reach because you choose to hang out with those people. You choose to read those books. You choose to go to the gym. You choose to walk around a block. You choose to drink that soda instead of water. You choose the doom scroll on Facebook or TikTok instead of picking up that book and studying something that's one of your dreams. And that's what creates your identity. And that identity creates your territory. Because when you create your identity on what who you want to be, where you want to be in 5 years, that actually starts creating where you're going to be and starts creating the territory that you're going to be and starts creating the environment that you're going to try and grow. Picture, anybody ever have a goldfish? I mean, you go to Sunday school and they give away a free goldfish, and your parents are like, "Oh no, not a goldfish." And meanwhile, the Sunday school teachers on the bus, they're all trying teasing about how they're going to swallow the goldfish and stuff like that to get you to ride the bus to go to the Bible class. And at the end of the day, they end up trying to give you goldfish. You take home, you're all excited. You got this little tiny itty bitty goldfish in a bowl. And your parents are like, "Oh well, all right, we'll get you a fish tank," and you get to a fish tank, and that little tiny fish grows bigger. Anybody get a bigger fish tank for him? Yeah, well, we ended up putting him in a big, huge tank. And you know what happened to that little tiny goldfish that was like this big? That grew bigger. It grew bigger. And did you know that when I was cleaning out that lagoon, do you realize how many goldfish there were in that lagoon that were huge? We're talking gigundo goldfish, man. Because see, what happens is your environment helps you grow. Yep, it helps you grow. It helps you grow. And so what happens with that is the type of environment that you're in will either stifle your growth and keep you small and tiny like a small little tiny itty bitty goldfish, or it'll help you grow into this big giant massive goldfish that chases snapping turtles around Market Park Lagoon. You know, and so you have to try and question, what kind of environment do you want to be in? Because you have to ask yourself, what has life been preparing you for? Has it been preparing you for bigger territory than the one you're currently in? And that's where you have to actually ask yourself about the challenges that you have. Are the challenges that you have, are they really just something mediocre? Like, yep, I ran out of paper today. I couldn't print out my reports. I couldn't print out my TPS report, so I'll have to wait till tomorrow when we get the paper. And or are they bona fide life changing type thing? Like, oh, I'll give you an example. I couldn't go and get my medicine today, so I'm probably going to try and my blood sugar is going to go sky high through the roof. You know, are those the type of challenges that are preparing you? And you have to ask yourself, what kind of preparing is it doing? Is it helping you learn to try and stockpile more medicine to try and keep in hand, or stockpiling more paper? Now, see, a lot of us feel that life is preparing us for a bigger territory, a bigger area, a bigger room. A lot of us feel that way. And a lot of us just don't get it. I mean, we are just acluistic. We just survive going from one fire to the next, putting each little whatever challenge behind us and moving on to the next challenge, going, what's next? What now? I mean, have you ever said that? What now? What's next? And a lot of us do that instead of changing it around, saying, hey, how can I benefit from this? How is this going to help my future? How is this going to get me closer to my dreams, my goals? Because see, what happens is your identity, your dominance is built through patterns. Ooh, yes, patterns. Not moments, but patterns. And no matter what anybody says, there are always patterns. Because see, there's the message mastery. I probably should have said this, that this is in my notes that I wrote that I'm not using. I should be paying attention to. In my notes, it, I've got message mastery. There are 4 pillars of regional dominance for your identity. One of them, pillar 1, is message mastery. Message mastery is when you know that what you have to talk about, when you know what you have to do, when you know what your core belief is, it has to be clear enough to repeat it and strong enough to spread it. You know, and I'm not talking like you're wanting to be a speaker. I'm talking like you're wanting to be a leader in your work, like you're wanting to be a leader in your organization, like you want to be a leader in your nonprofit, like you want to be a leader in your neighborhood, maybe even be a leader in your own family. Because when you're talking to the people around you, your message has to be clear enough to be able to repeat it and strong enough that they can follow it and it can spread. Because the second pillar is presence patterns. People should be able to predict your excellence. So when you try and talk about how things must be clear, how you can repeat your message over and over and over again, and how it's strong enough to be able to spread and help people realize that, hey, the work that you're doing right now is really great, but they have to see it. They have to see that you are preparing the excellence. They have to be able to predict that you do your job with excellence. Because that comes to level 3, which is identity authority. Because you know what? Do as I say, not as I do. yeah, it doesn't work. People are going to follow you based on whether or not you're doing what you say you're doing. And so you become the person people look for when they need clarity, when they need courage, when they need direction, because you are there as an excellent prediction to what needs to get done. You are carrying ex- e- examples on what needs to be done. And so this is what the heck? Other sport? All right. Well, yeah, we'll just deal with it. I'll figure something out. And finally, movement momentum. Movement momentum is basically your consistency creates a gravitational pull. See, what happens is there's a in physics there's a law out there that an object in motion stays in motion. And so therefore, when you start doing something, your consistency shows. Your discipline shows. Your action shows. And sort of like as you're flying through space or whatever like this, you're moving along. Ever notice how behind trucks or cars, there's always that little gap of stuff that's sometimes following you, like dirt or papers or whatever like that? What happens is when you have that movement momentum and your consistency's there, it creates a gravitational pull that pulls people with you. So I want to say that, consistency can create unexpected influences.
Have one?
Yes,
Does this make you constipated?
sometimes. But if you eat just a little bit, you'll be fine. It's all cheese and pepperoni. Patty made it.
Let's go.
You're welcome. See, one of the things that I notice is that when my clients, they always run and they love the fact that when I do a job, it's actually, you know, we do it in a complete way. So all the wires are hidden, everything's done in a great way. All right. So it looks a lot more professional than as you walk down the street and you look at some of the other installations that are out there where you got wires hanging from the ceiling and God knows what. All right. And so what happens is those referrals pass on to other people. And what happens is other people call me out of the blue wanting to know it. And case in point, referrals.
Can you give me juice?
I'm a little busy right now. Case in point, tomorrow I've got several people I've got to call back because of the fact that they were referred to me or they were referred to me from somebody else that had heard me speaking. And so therefore, they want me to come and talk to their organization. Two of them are Indiana, one is in Chicago, which is kind of exciting. I'm excited about that. But that's what patterns create. Because now I'm not only talking in Atlanta, but I'm now talking in Fort Wayne. I'm now talking in South Bend. I'm going to be talking in Chicago. And this is exciting. And these are all from referrals from people that I know that's heard me talk, that have talked to other people. Because people trust other people. They respond to certainty. and they gravitate towards the clarity that's out there. And you know what? They follow those who walk with conviction. Figure I'm on day 181 right now of going live every night. I'm going live every night. And it's actually kind of neat and cool and fruity because of the fact that there are other people in my classes that are starting to try and do the same thing now. And I'm excited that I'm the harbinger. What's here? I'm doing something right now. Sorry, baby cakes. I'm the harbinger of going live in my class. So I want you to try and say that, you know what? I'm not building followers. I'm building territory. You're building the area around you because you're becoming the person people are going to look for. Because you know what? When your name enters somebody's mouth and you haven't actually met them yet, that's what dominance looks like. That's what influence really is. Because your message travels through people that you've never even met. What, sweetheart?
What time does Mom have to go to her car?
I don't know. Well,
Hopefully she's back before afternoon because I might go to a pool now.
okay. All right. And so what happens is your message travels through people that you've never even met because of that. And what happens is people rely on that pattern. And your identity becomes a signal of excellence. Excellence, excellence. Because what happens is people trust other people. People trust their friends. People trust their family. People trust their coworkers. When they say, "Oh man, that company did an excellent job at installing cameras. That company did an excellent job fixing my roof. That company did an excellent job at whatever." They're going to try and go to that company. Or when my kids were in Head Start, you know, that teacher was awesome. Come on. You know, that teacher is awesome with my kids, and be recommended to other people, and other people would say, "Hey, can I have that?" Like Sandy, for instance. Sandy was an awesome lady. You know, she she was my nanny for quite a few years, taking care of my kids when they were young, and well, she was recommended by a close friend of mine that we hired, and she was unbelievable. And that's how we find people. Your identity becomes the signal of excellence that other people follow, and they talk about it and they spread it. And the next thing you know, you become a magnet to other people. They want you. They want your product. They want your service. They want you to take care of them. And that's not arrogance, and that's not egotism, but that's pure excellence on your part. That's because of your daily discipline, because your schedule becomes your strategy of bringing that excellence to fruit. That's called territory awareness. That's where you know where you're supposed to be. Your region where you're called to influence, the market that you're supposed to be working in. And then that's also the identity embodiment.
That was a YouTube.
I'm in the middle of something, sweetheart.
Come
You
on.
walk like the leader your region needs. Isn't it always the case with kids? As soon as you start doing something, they have to be there. They'll be gone all day long, not bothering you. But as soon as you get involved in something, there they are.
I'm realized.
Yes, I love you too, babe. All right, I'll take care of your YouTube thing after I'm done. All right, I promise. So your identity embodiment is basically you walk like the leader that everybody knows that you already are. Because nobody wants to follow a leader that's going to shrug off. Nobody wants to follow a leader that is unsure of themselves. And when I talk about you being a leader, well, you know what? Be a leader in your office environment. Be the best at what you do. Be the best in your office. Be the best in your doctor's office. Be the best in your nursing pool. Be the best in your HVAC supply company. Be the best at O'Reilly's, auto supply. There's a TikTok out there of this girl that's doing videos, and she's got a lot of followers. And she's one of the things that she does is she does a silly dance thing. But the thing that more or less about the important part of it is that she goes on there and talks about how she's more focused on taking care of the customers, and she does a dance to motivate the customers and make them feel better.
Dad, how do I send you a gift?
I don't know, sweetheart, right now. And so you're not stepping into region of dominance because you're perfect. You're stepping into it because you're being prepared. Prepared by pressure, the challenges that are around you, prepared by the responsibility, prepared by everything that you've survived quietly. Because you know what? You've withstood more than people know. You've owned more than people seen. Now it's time to win in a way that nobody can ignore. You got to step up, make your